we played Irma, the game, yesterday. And when we beat the game, there was a post-game thing. Involving what looked like an invisible man with a top hat.
Oh, God. Bear showed me the comic panels with him.
Yeah, no. So, alright. I was wondering, alright, who is this guy? Why does he seem so familiar? And then I looked it up, and I finally remembered. This was from... Fuck, what was the name of the book? Spirits Bloom. A prequel book talking about... that showed how Irma's parents, Sam Williams and Emiko Yurimoto, met. It also shows the day Irma was born. And then this motherfucker showed up.
And started exploding people. It's as graphic as it sounds. People popped like goddamn water balloons.
Also, you want to see what what Irma's grandfather looks like?
Oh, this ought to be good.
Keep in mind, this is in like full yokai mode.
Well, that's properly intimidating.
The rest of the time, he's just a hunched over old man with a very long nose. Because, you know, Tengu. Anyway, hello.
The shading is really good.
Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the cave. Vegas Bear here, as always. Remembering that he forgot to post that we were live.
We be a goofy bun.
With me today is Mekumon, Taro, and Webb.
Hello.
Gang's all here.
And today we're playing the scariest game ever made. I'm kidding, Taro.
I was about to say, we're playing Alien Isolation?
Fuck no.
Yeah, no. I've played through that game. Beating the campaign the first time left my legs feeling like jelly, and I could feel my heart in my throat. And my head. And my arms. Like,
and in my heart.
Like, legit, I was playing on the easiest difficulty and I still barely made it through. That game is brutal. I'm morbidly eager for the sequel, though.
Yeah, maybe that one, just watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, reasonable distance. I'll never forget the day I found out that the alien being attracted to noise could be lured to attack other NPCs. It was a complete accident, but it worked in my favor. Short version, I was trapped under a table. There were enemy humans all over the place. I realized that the only way I was going to get out of the room was if I got them killed so I could proceed. So, while I'm still hiding under the table, I pull out the revolver and try to get a headshot on one. Evidently, I missed and nicked his chest or something because he didn't just drop. And while I'm hiding under the table, I hear thudding. And then hissing. And then all the human NPCs are opening fire on something that is not my general direction. and then I see bigger chap just show up. And I'm just sitting here going, oh my freaking god, that is worse.
Just imagine Amanda Ripley looking at the revolver going, I have too much power.
Yeah.
Alright, so today we are playing The Roottrees Are Dead. I believe this is like the 4th time I've said this. Oh, wait, fuck. Hold on. Supposed to activate this from the Steam page, not the... There we go. Now let me head over here to Discord, share my screen. Alright, so we, actually let me check the audio.
While he's doing that, I'm just going to ask Taro and Webb an honest question. Have either of you heard the phrase, Planet of Hats?
Excuse me?
Have either of you heard the phrase, Planet of Hats?
Nope. No.
Okay, briefest explanation I can give. I've heard it used a lot in reference to Star Trek planets. It is basically when an entire society introduced for like a brief period, like 1 or 2 episodes, is centered around a particular gimmick. Like a planet where everybody wears silly hats and their government is built around what hat gives you what status. A planet that basically only does one thing. It's a useful tool in an episodic series to get distinct planets because you can just do one concept and at a time and get a bunch of planets out of that. But from a writing standpoint, it gets kind of boring if you overuse it.
Alright. We are about to start the game. I was about to say the title again, and I was like, no.
For instance, some might joke that the Greek god pantheon is a planet of hats where the theme is hypocrisy. And then get smoked for it.
December 6, 1998.
The plane that crashed last night just outside of Pittsburgh is now known to have been the private jet of the Roottrees Corporation. Local aviation authorities have speculated, based on the pilot's final communication, that the winter storm and heavy winds played a significant role in the crash.
More winter
On board
storms.
were multiple family members, including corporate president Carl
Your
Roottrees
face and voice
his
are familiar.
daughters, the Roottrees sisters, best known for their fashion lines and modeling careers. There were no survivors. Again, for those of you just joining us, the Roottrees are dead.
I know it's late, but I'm guessing you've seen the news. In addition to dealing with the grief, the Roottrees company's lawyers are scrambling. Everything's about to change. Anyone proven to be a blood relative is about to get much richer. I'm here to ensure everyone is accounted for. I've heard you're an expert at sorting out complicated family trees. A genealogy genie, as it were. I'm going to give you a quick test. Pass, and I can promise you the job of a lifetime.
Complete the family tree of the Roottrees sisters. Siblings are in birth order, oldest to youngest. Examine my evidence, search the internet for clues, fill the names, fill the occupations, fill the photos. Sleuth! Technically, we already know the occupations of the three sisters.
They were fashion designers.
They were fashion models.
Fashion models. Brain.
Okay, so this is the board where we piece together the family tree. This is our apartment. We have a poster for Riot Girl, the notorious Montjoys, Mystery Comics.
Suspense. Woo!
And
That's a title I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. We also have we have a hallway. we have a notebook where we can jot down notes. We have a duck. If we're ever stuck, we just talk to the rubber duck. And here's the evidence table. List of names. This list is provided to you by the mysterious person who showed up at your door. You'll need it to fill in the family tree. Right. So these are all of the... These are all the names of... Well... everyone. We just gotta figure out who's who. The person who hired you gave you this photo with a note attached. This was taken during the shoot of the Roottrees Sisters Got Milk ad. I've tracked down a test photo from before they painted the fake mustaches on, which I thought would be more appropriate considering the circumstances. The ad's copy reads, you might recognize our faces from the magazine you're reading, or you might recognize our name from the candy bar you're eating. Being a Roottree is a full-time job, but so is growing up. That's why the calcium found in milk is so important. Plus, you can't make chocolate without it. So, we have 3 girls here. We can zoom in. There's a wedding ring on this one's on the far on the right one's sister or hand. God damn it. And we do know that at least one of them was married, so we can put her face there. So now we go to the computer, connect to the internet, and make me feel fucking old.
Fastest dial-up I've ever seen. Yeah, legit fastest dial-up I've ever seen.
Spider search. This is a weird search engine because it doesn't give you a list of sites or anything. it tells you it just tells you the results of the search. Like, there are several sites that have these things listed. Alright, so first we're just going to put in the Roottrees. First few pages are filled with news results about the plane crash. Besides that, there are countless advertisements and conversations about the various products made by the Roottree Candy Company. Most articles mention Carl Roottree, who was the president of the Roottree Candy Company. His daughters are also
Eulogized.
collectively referred to as the Roottrees sisters. They've been famous from a very early age. There's lots of obituaries that focus on the Roottrees sisters' modeling careers. You also come across an unofficial Roottree fan site, seemingly curated by a teenager. It's neon pink with purple text and hard to read until you highlight the words. The young webmaster writes, Rihanna is the most famous because she's the oldest and got married to TMS. But Riley is a smart one. Rose is a middle child like me. You might think they're rich just because they're models, but their dad is also the president of the candy company, and their mom, Brenda, is a fashion designer. They do the modeling for her brand, Root. I eat Roottree candy all the time. My favorite are Maple Crisps, and try to dress him in plaid Root clothes like Riley does in most of the posters. Someday I want to get my ears pierced like Rose. Website's author continues to talk about her own life and what she likes about the Root fashion lines, but none of it is relevant. Well, we got names.
And technically, we have an age order.
Rana Roottrie. She said Riley was the middle. Wait, was Riley the middle? Rose is the middle.
Which makes Riley the youngest.
And there's no Rose Roottree. Oh. Ain't that a pickle? Also, going by these photos, I think we can at least assume that this is the youngest of the three. Which would make this the middle child. Now, let's see. Rose Roottree is not as popular as her older sister Rihanna, but still very well known. Most of the time they're lumped together as Roottree sisters. Unfortunately, the results for Rose by herself don't lead to anything different than when searching for the sisters together. Alright. Let's try Root. Damn it.
What were you trying to?
The clothing company. There we go. Period is part of the name. Okay. It's a clothing company. They make clothes for children from toddlers to teenagers. Although their website is down, likely due to increased web traffic, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes towards target audience. One of them has this to say: "You've spied the Roottree sisters looking hella fly." Oh my god. On catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you too can be like Riley, Rose, or Rihanna.
Raina.
Right, Rana. You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently, Root has released 2 catalogs per year, every year since 1984, and Reina appeared on almost all of them. There's also one that the webmaster considers a collector's item enough to mention. It seems that Brenda Roottrees, the Roottrees sister's mother, and Root's head designer, appeared on one cover holding her daughter Rose in 1985. The site says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed by her birth name, Carly Roottree. Well done. These 3 entries are correct and have been locked.
Sorry to test you, but I had to be sure you could use the internet. Some folks refuse to get with the times. Safe to say, you're hired.
This was all a test to see if I could use the internet?
Why not just send me on a Google search for, I don't know, place item here?
The reward for untangling the family tree is substantial. Life-changing, even. But here's the catch. The Roottrees go way, way back. The family tree's a bit daunting. Most people freak out the first time they see the whole thing. But I'm sure you'll be fine. The man who started it was particular about whom he considered family. For your purposes, you only need his direct blood relatives. Anyone related only by marriage is optional, but filling them in can lead to useful discoveries. Lastly, you now have access to some unique websites, plus a list of notable Roottrees. Notable people are easy to find via your search engine, and marked with stars on the family tree. I'm off for now. Carl Roottree had a lot in his office. I'll look for anything useful. I'll return once you identify 6 more blood relatives. Sorry, one last thing. This might sound odd, but if anyone else claiming to represent the Roottrees reaches out, I'd appreciate you not mentioning I was here. Thank you, and good luck.
Why, that's suspicious.
Alright, Brenda.
www.freehat.totallynotavirus.tf. The hell?
Okay, so yeah, damn. The whole family tree can't even fit on one screen.
Where did you see that, Megalon? I missed it.
No, it's on the list of websites she gave us.
I think
Apparently it's for free Team Fortress 2 hats.
he's making a funny. The Roottrees sisters and their parents died in a plane crash on December 6th, 1998. Next evening, a shadowy figure appeared at your door and said the lawyers were looking to sort out the family tree. After a quick test, the figure gave you access to some resources. This included a list of notable Roottrees, who they said would be the easiest family members to place. They said they would return in the time it took to fill out 6 more blood relatives. Alright, so Roottree sisters, that's crossed out. Their father, Carl Roottree, Elias and Gwyneth Roottree, Gwyn Roottree, Red Roottree, Jim Roottree, Lauren Roottree, and Miracle Jr. You know what? Let's just... Aloysius Herring Roottree, aka Red. His name is Red Herring Roottree. Was an appointed judge and politician who earned his nickname ironically because he was the ambassador to Ireland for only about 6 days. He served what some people contend is the shortest term in history. A few days after he was appointed, he was heard disparaging his position and the Irish people. Oh, you don't want to do that.
Hang on a second.
Yes? Make him on.
On a skillet.
What?
Sorry.
Huh?
What here? So hearing that pissed me off.
Oh. He tried to run for state senate.
I didn't want to go on an angry, profanity-laden rant.
I've lost the plot here.
Same.
So I legit do have Irish blood, and hearing that, I'm like, I'm gonna say something very angry, and I'm gonna probably get into trouble, so I'm gonna mute.
Red herring Roottrees was disparaging the Irish people, so...
Oh!
He then tried to run for state senate. He claimed to be related to the Roottrees Candy Company in a newspaper ad, but it came out that the last name was merely a coincidence, and he was defeated in a landslide. So that means he's not a Roottrees, and the star is now just a red herring.
And to think, I thought I'd see the last of this joke in a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Is an advertisement for 5 pieces aimed at kids from the magazine Teen Blast. It mentions that the 5 pieces were named as such because the original creator had 5 children. The ad also mentions that the current 5 flavors are not the same as back then. So, Roottrees 5 pieces. There's 5 flavors because the original inventor had 5 kids. Maybe that's why kids still love them.
Cool chocolate, so strawberry, power plum, awesome apple, rad blue raspberry.
Bad blue.
Running with new flavors because it's no longer the 1920s.
What even is an elderberry anyway?
Having had elderberry gummies before, they're actually quite good.
Teen Blast is a magazine aimed at teenage girls. Their website has a news section that offers condolences for the loss of the Roottrees sisters. Their fashion line was often covered by our magazine, and Ronna Roottrees first appeared on the cover of her on her 16th birthday. So, looking this up, we got a periodical. So we can hold on. We can search the periodicals. Teen Blast. Search. And Rihanna was on the cover of Teen Blast when she was 16 and did an interview. You add the cover and article to your evidence. This issue also mentions TMS and Brother Trouble. Grandpa was a college professor. So we put that there. Grandma Laura tells me he was really proud of what we managed to accomplish. Okay. Laura Carlson. Because remember, so important thing to note. It is always the the family name goes first, and it's always if it's a woman, it's the maiden name. So, important things to remember. TMS. She's married to she was married to TMS. So, what is Brother Trouble? Brother Trouble.
I was gonna say, like.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, for instance, when they did this in Marvel, my key example is Mary Jane Watson Parker. And yes, she has been referred to as such more than once.
Brother Trouble was a 1989 sitcom about two 16-year-old brothers, same age, one adopted, played by Tommy Mark Sheridan, TMS, and Dustin Christopher Baker. Their single mother, played by stand-up Penelope Tessa Green, often had to navigate her job as a magazine columnist, as well as the troubles that came with raising two boys who were extremely competitive in sports, academics, and even romantic pursuit of their next-door neighbor, Roxy. Showrunner was small screen director Ron Roottrees. The show had strong ratings for the entirety of season 1, rocking both Sheridan and Baker to instant stardom, mostly amongst the teenage girl demographic. However, it was canceled in 1991, midway through the second season, due to a significant drop-off in ratings.
I bet they added a new cousin character. That usually does it.
So first, let's take a look at Tommy Mark Sheridan. After a short engagement, they were married in 1997 when she was only 19 and he was 23.
Technically legal, but still a little weird.
Since the end of Brother Trouble, he has often been on the cover of tabloids for supposed drug use, and more recently, his relationship with Rhonda Roottrees. Okay, so we got a name for a spouse. Sheridan Thomas. Penelope Tessa Green. We're gonna need this for later, trust me.
Penelope Tessa Green is a retired comedian. There's a result for the Laugh Lounge, a club in Reno that claims Penelope got her stand-up start and first did her famously raunchy breast milk cheese routine in the 80s there before she was a TV star on Brother Trouble. The site claims that she retired for the birth of her first child, but still makes yearly appearances for fundraisers, doing more family-friendly material. You find a picture labeled Joke-O-Lantern 1997, as well as a different picture labeled Jack watching one of his mother's charity sets 1994. Both have been added to evidence.
So the fact that we were able to get their faces means that they're involved with the Roottrees somehow. Ron Roottrees is a small screen director and the head of RR Productions. He directed episodes of a few other shows before show running and creating a one-season hit, Brother Trouble. Defunct production company responsible for Brother Trouble. Find a comment on the Usenet board stating that Brother Trouble ended up being an ironic name, considering the rumors about RR Productions, Ron and Robbie Roottrees.
There's not much relevant information about Robbie Roottrees. In a comment thread on a message board about television cliches, you find a thread called, "Why was Brother Trouble canceled?" One user speculates, "I think it's because the writing really went downhill in season 2. They actually had an episode where Roxy was addicted to sniffing markers." Another person replied, "Maybe it's due to the rumor about Robbie Roottrees and Silver Screen magazine. There's a link to some kind of article, but it appears to be dead."
We got a new periodical.
Silver Screen Magazine was a Hollywood Insiders magazine, focusing less on actors and actresses and more about the nitty-gritty of writing, directing, costuming, set design, film promotion, and other elements of filmmaking. Oh, so it gets into the technical stuff. I'd actually read that. It ran from 1983 to 1993. It was bought by a bigger, more recognizable magazine a few years ago, and the website now redirects the new magazine. The new magazine doesn't appear to have any relevance to your case.
Well, we got the periodical, that's important. For now, I say we double back and take a look at Carl Roottrees. Let's see. Carl Roottrees died in a recent plane crash along with his wife Brenda Roottrees and their daughters, the Roottrees sisters. He was the president of the Roottrees Candy Company as well as the clothing company Root, which he co-founded with his wife. There's a short press release that the Roottrees Candy Company released today to news organizations. December 6, 1999.
98.
God damn it, I still got it wrong. This is like Taro. What was it? Revice came out in 2001, right?
Yeah.
I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go pick up some people.
Okay.
I
Bye, Web.
guess I'll be taking
Bye,
my leave
Taro.
too, then.
Taking Taro
See you
with
guys.
me.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yes. Ciao. Good luck with the
Bye.
mystery.
Thank you.
We'll need it. And then there were two.
Mm-hmm. You go on to list some of the accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search. Oh, wait.
I don't think we actually read the rest of that.
Yeah. It is with a
Just a
heavy...
moment.
Oh. You know what? You read this. I'm going to go get a drink.
Fair enough. December 6th, 1998. It is with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of Carl, Brenda, the Roottrees sisters, and the other employees that perished in the terrible tragedy. The entire Roottrees family was in shock and is requesting privacy at this time. As the head of our company, Carl was an incredible man and an unmatched leader. Filling his absence will be difficult and may take considerable time. In the interim, we hope that you will join us in looking back fondly on Carl and his family's triumphs and accomplishments. They go on to list some of those accomplishments. One of them seems relevant to your search. Like his great-grandfather before him, Carl earned the highly prestigious Watchman of the Year title. I'll be honest here, folks. The one joke that has been playing in my head over and over and over again since I learned about this game is, oh man, the Buckets got into some serious shit after Wonka gave them the company. Well, I guess we're seeing that play out. In the meantime, let's enjoy the music. Having played a lot of Halo 3 ODST in my time, this music makes me very happy. I could probably check for any messages in the Twitch chat. So, who's out in the audience? How's your day going? The bear has returned.
I have returned. Hello?
I've read the whole thing, so you who can proceed.
Alright. Watchman of the Year title. Business Watch. Does not host any online archives on any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find individual articles and issues through your periodical search. Periodical, Business Watch. Business Watch has rewarded the Watchman of the Year to many people throughout the years. Every 10 years they publish the full list again. You search through the most recent list and the only names you recognize are Elias Roottrees and Carl Roottrees. let's take a look at Elias here. Elias Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936. An opinion of him appears on the cover. Magazine says, I almost said manganese. I don't even know what that is. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year, specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. In 1908, Elias forms the Roottrees Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. During the period before 5 pieces, the company was barely profitable. In 1909, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children, 4 more following, leading to 1922, Elias invents 5 pieces. Each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children, 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out to all of New England. The new recipe and flavor is finalized, and the candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores and other shops everywhere. The Roottrees Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania in preparation for the global rollout. Damn. With help from his son, Elias Roottrees Jr.'s architecture firm, a new industrialized factory warehouse are built in Butler County. Production is tripled and worldwide distribution begins. There's also a what next section that claims that Elias is going to pivot to ensuring his company's legacy, and that the Roottrees Candy Company remains a family business. He plans to do this with the Clancy Trust. You can read this one.
Alrighty. The Clancy, pronounced Clancy Trust, is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottrees, who was Elias' son and the Roottrees Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and is first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never fully been disclosed to the public, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clancy Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are all handled internally. The only information you discover is from a university law school, which apparently had a guest letter talk about the Roottrees versus RR in 1994. While looking into the Clancy Trust, you find mentions to the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time.
The 5-piece guarantee, in combination with the Clancy Trust, was Elias Roottrees' attempt to ensure that the Roottrees Candy Company would remain a family business for eternity. In isolation, excuse me.
Nice.
In isolation, It is somewhat baffling. The yearly salary of Roottrees president is always locked to the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, this was 25 cents a year. Now it's closer to $4. Combined with the Clancy Trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president, and he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was a smart or successful decision is widely debated both online and in person by economic enthusiasts of all levels and expertise. So basically, if you were to become like the president of the company and you're not blood related, your yearly salary is $4. It is $4, the price of a piece of candy.
Jeez. I am fairly certain that's illegal.
And it's also why it ensures that the president is always a blood relative because of the Clancy Trust.
Yeah, the Wonka's got some weird shit going on. Or would that be the Buckets, considering Wonka had no actual relatives?
You find very, very...
One moment, please.
Oh.
Sorry. These... If you're reading it, go ahead.
You find very few details about this particular incident with regards to the Clancy Trust. A student that attended the lecture about it wrote the following on a legal oddities website. From what you can tell, RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It was said that RR attempted 2 arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock. And second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Still, due to the ironclad wording of the Clancy Trust, it is impossible to remove any direct descendant of Elias Roottrees without completely dissolving the trust. There is no additional information online. Legal oddities. Nothing. Okay.
Yes, I'll take this one. Elias Roottrees was the founder and first president of the Roottrees Candy Company. You find what is essentially a propaganda site about him created by the Roottrees Candy Company. At the top, there is a picture of him and his wife, Gwyneth. That picture has been added to your evidence. There's also a biography section that has some additional information. Elias was credited for inventing 5 Pieces, a popular maple candy. Before that, the farm he inherited by marrying his wife only produced syrup. After 5 Pieces became wildly successful, Elias spent his time and energy on cementing his reputation as a family man. He is quoted on the site saying, "Blood is thicker than syrup, and any child linked to me by blood shall be linked by blood to my legacy." The site enthusiastically claims that he made good on that promise, but offers no additional detail. There are a few more quotes about Elias from a book called Family Man, The Roottrees Legacy by Bess Williams. To say that they are biased is a massive understatement. Below that, there is a long list of accomplishments and awards, and one stands out. Like his great-grandson Carl, Elias was voted Watchman of the Year.
Alright, so... Hold on. Excuse me. Woo!
Nice.
That one was stuck in the chamber. Alright. No, this is spider search. Family Man, The Roottrees Legacy.
And Bess Williams. You're putting the book title and family name. An author name, I mean.
Well, fuck.
Published 1920, hardcover, non-fiction anthology. An old book about Elias Roottrees. There's no downloadable version available because the book is impossible to find.
Alright, well, I guess we're gonna just double back and look at what evidence we've got. Let's see.
With a history this long, it's kind of inevitable we'll find some dead ends.
Yeah. Let's see. Right now, I'm just skimming this.
I appreciate the music of the game, though.
Carl's wife, Brenda, was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mom. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Rana's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin Jim Roottrees, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands, seeing demand. Carl and his second cousin Ernie Jr., who had just become president of the Roottrees at the time, spearheaded Root. Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy. So Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company.
That is some serious confidence.
That is some serious confidence and faith in your wife.
That's honestly kind of wholesome.
To bankroll a clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company. And they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Rana became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. And, of course, the whole Watchman of the Year thing. So, damn!
Like, legit, that is some confidence and faith in your wife. That's actually kind of wholesome. In a bizarre capitalistic way.
There's a famous picture of Elias and Gwyneth Roottrees. It was taken in 1909 after they founded the Roottrees Candy Company, but it was before it was a success. From what you found searching the internet, it seems quite difficult to find any sites about Elias or Gwyneth that isn't accompanied by this picture. Elias and Gwyneth are on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. They will be marked on the chart with a star. Okay. Wait. I put Laura Carlson in the wrong fucking thing. was Brenda, wasn't it? Yeah. Mom's name was Brenda. Brenda White. Carl Roottrees, known occupation. 5th president of the company. And we know this guy's name was Jim. To perhaps James?
Jim, Jimmy, etc. They're nicknames for James. As you know, I have an uncle with that name.
Seeing as how this is in the early 1900s, I'm going to say she was a housewife. And he was the first president of the company.
Well done!
Booyah. Also, since we've unlocked it, we can now add the extra picture of Elias.
This is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, also, wait. Oh, I didn't grab a picture from the candy net or from the magazine. Whoopsie. All right. I should capitalize that. James Roottrees is a singer who sings in the duo Jim and Diamond with his wife Diamond LaRoux. The duo, according to many sources you find, is considered a one-hit wonder due to the disco song Rollin' On Down to the City. It's now in your evidence folder. Although Jim writes the majority of songs, plays the guitar, and often sings, Diamond is considered by fans to be the band's lead singer. The band never had another hit, but it has its fans, who refer to themselves as Diamond Stazzlers. The rest of their music is more folksy and acoustic than the one song that they were known for. Jim and Diamond have continued to release music through the 80s and early 90s. Other albums you find mentioned are Cherry Tree and Sound of Laughter. Jim has become a bit of a recluse, and he hasn't made a public appearance since 1996. I don't know what I was expecting. Jim and Diamond. It just goes back to James Roottrees. Oh wait, we can actually listen to this song. I don't know if we might. I don't know if this will give us a copyright strike or not.
Better safe than sorry.
Yep.
Rolling On Down to the City was barely a top 20 hit for a few weeks in 1979. According to the liner notes, it satirizes how a part of society was content to remain indifferent to economic inflation and civil unrest in the Middle East, and thus pop culture tricked them into caring. Somewhat ironically, listeners didn't seem to pay attention to the lyrics enough to trick them into caring. Instead, most of its play came from roller discos. Because it was such a product of its time, it doesn't get much play anymore, even on stations that play oldies. Maybe that's why you'd never heard of it before now. The image is from an auction for a sealed copy. It has a sticker that says, "Only the great-grandson of Elias Roottrees could make disco this sweet." It is credited to Peter Janowitz from Triple M.
Seems to be a music critic. You find him mentioned on a fan website about a band unrelated to the Roottrees. He used to work for Modern Music Monthly.
Before the magazine went under.
Magazine from the 40s to the early 80s. It went out of business due to high competition from much more major publications. An interview from 1979 titled "A Reluctant Hitmaker." Jim goes into his first band. Until a few years ago, Diamond and I were in C&J plus J&D with my cousin and his ex. Clark never knew his father, so our grandpop insisted he spend time with my dad and me. As a result, Clark and I grew up like brothers. Diamond and Jane, on the other hand, are actual sisters. So the four of us had a sort of cutesy family band thing going on. Not our finest hour. Regardless, when Diamond walked in on Clark in bed with her younger sister, everything exploded. No more family band. The only thing Clark and I had in common was music, but even then, we never agreed on what it should be. He was always more interested in catchy tunes, something you hum a week later. Told Roland is like that, but that wasn't my goal. When he called me up and said he liked it, I took it as a sign I was going in the wrong direction musically. That made him laugh, but I'm trying to make art. I don't mind saying any of this because he'd agree. For most of the decade, he was a mess, but he's a lot happier now. He started Raffertunes, and he's a much better jingle writer than songwriter. One of the benefits of our famous family is a massive company willing to be a client. That's how my father was connected to Roottrees. All of his old ad campaigns were hung on the walls of over the record player. But I was never interested. I just went straight for the music. I guess Clark was paying more attention.
Sounds like an ass.
What the fuck? A band called C&J plus J&D released one single called These Times. Someone with the username Die Hard Dazzler scanned the cover and noted it costed him over $200 at auction. Apparently this was Jim Roottrees and Diamond LaRoque's first song together. He also mentions that it was performed with Jim's cousin and Diamond's sister, and that it was somewhat similar to Jim and Diamond's later works. Can't find anything else about Die Hard Dazzler, the band, or the single. So all that's left to do is add the scan to your evidence after a blazing fast 35-minute download. The track is also included.
Love dial-up. And yes, by all accounts, 35 minutes was fast. Dial-up was just... If modern internet is basically NASCAR on jet fuel, then dial-up was an old wind-up toy car stuck in, like, sticky mud. Yeah, you'll eventually get out of there, but you're going to need a lot of patience. You know, I just thought of something incredibly stupid. That is, like, it's stupid because it's unrelated to the game, but my brain realized, yeah, Transformers did a Hot Wheels promotion with a crossover thing, but you know what they could have done instead of just making Hot Wheels cars turn into Cybertronians? They could have revived the Spy Changers to have Transformers compatible with Hot Wheels tracks again.
Find some information on a website about old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized and the search is broken, but you can get to individual pages from your search engine. Gwen Roottrees is a somewhat well-known actress who was active in the 1950s. She often appeared in tabloids, especially around the time of her highly publicized divorce. Her biggest role was the minor hit movie Guys Like Us. She left Hollywood after the flop of Christmas Mission. There's a widely circulated picture of Gwen from behind the scenes of one of her movies, which you've added to evidence. Did you know trivia? Gwen was the granddaughter of Elias Roottree, founder of Roottree Candy. She shouldn't have been named Roottree, but her father took her mother's famous name, which was quite rare in those days. Interesting.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's still a fairly uncommon practice for the husband to take the wife's name instead of the other way around. Not unheard of by any stretch, but not super common.
Let's see, Guys Like Us, Spider Search.
Hang on. I had to get up for a moment and legs started to cramp.
You're good.
Alright, let's see what we got here. Apologies. You find some information on a website about the old films that are not yet available on VHS. The site is not very well organized, and the search is broken, yada yada. Okay, you read some of this.
This one's about Harrison Lane.
Harrison Lane was a television actor with a major role in Guys Like Us and some other films. His largest role before Guys Like Us was as the villain in the first season of Western Frontiers. Due to the popularity of Guys Like Us, the studio brought Lane back to play the villain's twin brother, this time as a hero joining the protagonist. Yeah, that sounds like a Hollywood trick, alright. Western Frontiers has no connection to the Roottrees. Harrison Lane seems to be a dead end. Did you know The title is a play on words.
Oh, sorry. I I went back.
Oh well.
Did you know Harrison Lane married his high school sweetheart after they reunited at a movie premiere?
Alright, let's try that again. Did you know? The title is a play on words, as it can be read that the two women are men similar to other men, or that the men are fond of them.
Guys Like Us sounds like a weird movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially for 1953. Let's see. The Sweet History of Candy, Volume 2 by Charles Lee. Why does that name sound familiar? Part of a book series about all things candy in the modern world. It starts in 1925 and continues onward to chronicle the rise of mass production by global distribution. The book ends with a look into the future of candy as envisioned by experts in 1985. With the addition of hindsight, you can clearly see that they got pretty much everything wrong. It includes some print advertisements. Find a newspaper ad for 5 pieces from the 1930s added to evidence. So this is volume 2. What if we look at volume 1? It's a book about all things candy throughout history. It starts with historical accounts dating back to ancient Egyptians and chronicles candy through the year 1924. It includes some print advertisements for companies you've heard of, including an extremely early newspaper ad for 5 pieces that Charles Lee included due to a major misprint added to evidence. Okay, so 5 pieces ad 1924. Find this advertisement in The Sweet History of Candy, Volume 1 by Charles Lee. It's from 1924, 2 years after the debut of 5 pieces. The author included it because of a spelling error on the word available near the bottom. It states that the flavors are inspired by their children, and the order is grape, elderberry, egg cream, cinnamon extract, and milk.
Definitely sounds like candy for the time.
I see the typo. It's the I in available. It's on the wrong side of the L. Great.
To be honest, I too have issues with that kind of a thing.
Grape, elderberry, egg cream, cinnamon extract, melon. Probably use this to narrow down the names for the first 5 children. Now let's take a look at the 1928 ad. Contains 5 different maple-infused flavors. Roottrees are a proud family business, and our flavors are inspired by our children. G is for grape, E is for elderberry, CE is for cinnamon extract, M is for melon, and introducing M for miracle berry. Wait a minute. Hey, Kumon. You notice anything different about this ad compared to the last one?
Beyond the fact that they didn't do the typo thing?
Where's egg cream?
Yeah, now that you mention it.
And it said that the flavors are inspired by our children, so is there a secret sixth child that we don't know about? Well, I say secret, but they were like right there with egg cream. But anyway,
Unless one kid got disowned.
wait, Gwen is still. Gwen's not. Oh, because she's not. She hasn't. She's not. She hasn't been confirmed yet. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Can I unhighlight? No, I can't. Fuck. Miracle Jr. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name in promotional materials. Instead, he has shortened it to Miracle Jr. Okay? Miracle Jr. is a tele-evangelist who's part of the Miracle Network. He used to have a show that aired on local access across many stations in the northeastern United States. According to a website called Clergy Watch, he was exposed and subsequently charged with conspiracy to defraud the public in 1979 when he claimed to heal someone in a wheelchair. A news expose revealed that it was his wife, Edith's sister, in a disguise. The author also mentions that Edith had a bit of a checkered past herself, but doesn't clarify. He has since lost his television show and instead goes on tour across the southern United States, where he was not well known before the scandal. Interesting.
Be right back.
Alright. Find a website for the Miracle Network. Production company run by the Miracle Roottrees estate. It's quite bare bones, but has the following blurb. Witness the testimonies of the Miracles Roottree. Miracle Roottree arrived so late in his mother's life that the doctor swore he wouldn't survive his first year. His mother and father...
Sorry, Beth. Oh, just up and bolting like that. I have apparently heard a shitload of snow falling off someone's roof into their yard.
Oh. His mother and father Elias and Gwyneth named him Miracle because they thought him impossible. He was younger than his brothers and sisters by over 14 years. With a birth that late, the final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems. But still, with the power of God on his side, I would say anime, but this was I don't think anime was a thing at this point. The power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over these complications and even regained his sight to spread the healing word of the Almighty. 23 years later, Miracle Roottrees Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Roottrees name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level via the power of television. Miracle Jr. spread the gospel across the entirety of New England. He has since left the life of glamour and glitz behind to reach those places that need it most. The Power of the Lord, coming to a town near you. Below the blurb is a flyer about the tour, which is in your evidence. Miracle Roottrees Estate. Really? Damn. Let's just go. Okay, yeah.
Today's been just wacky, isn't it?
Yep.
A flyer for the 3 Generations of Miracles tour. The flyer is a few years old. It comes from '96. The names listed are Miracle Jr., who is said to be world famous and gets top billing. Miracle Jr. is on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. He will be marked on a chart with a star. Miracle Roottrees, who the flyer says will make a special appearance. Miracle Third and his wife Nicole, who are said to be youth pastors.
Right.
So when did they say the first Miracle Roottrees, came to be?
Well, we know he was the last. So that would mean.
I mean, the first one named Miracle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the last of the 5, so this would be him.
So we're still talking like relative early 1900s.
I think so.
Like, give me a year here.
It doesn't give a year.
We might be able to reverse engineer one. How much younger did it say he was than his siblings?
By 14 years.
All right.
Okay, so 1909, Elias had a daughter, the first of 5 children.
So 14 years, 1909. Somewhere in the 30s. Late 20s, early 30s.
That sounds about right. Let's see.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. The power of anime wouldn't be available to humankind as it was still in beta until after the Second World War.
Edith Jacobson?
At least anime as we know it. You know, now I'm gonna have to actually look this up, because this is gonna bug me. Is that your detective work? And now I got mine. Oh, okay. I was wrong. The first confirmed Japanese animations, considered the earliest anime, were made in 1917.
Fuck.
Basically, they're equivalent to Gertie the dinosaur.
Alright, we've got 3 more.
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes. But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers.
I was right
You've
to a
traced
degree.
9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
Alright.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was right to a degree. While the first animated films, considered the predecessors of anime as we know it, came out in the 1910s, the more familiar stuff wouldn't happen until the 60s, with the work of Osamu Tezuka, aka the god of manga. Hello, Astro Boy.
Carl left his box with a handwritten note attached to it that seemed personal as a flyer about candidate for local office Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from the newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply, love is our future. The handwritten note says, Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflicts spread to the next generation. CM. Butler County Times. Woo! New periodical. Okay, let's see here. We've got... This photo is stuck behind an envelope with the letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, to Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible, and Ernie, more than anyone else on Earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects. Though it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you 3 did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it's impossible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust and that it was no coincidence that it happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could have never have done that without the two of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water damage picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fell out too. Written on the back of the photo is, couldn't make it to the reunion. Wishing you well from Paris, Gwen and the boys. The free spirits. This photo has a notice attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, Roottrees will hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s, and Carl's a teenager in the middle. Sorry about the water damage. A pipe burst in Carl's office. In the back of the photo, a childish print writing. In childish print writing, it says November. There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next president Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottree, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Oh boy, that's a lot of people.
Yep.
Okay, so we know those two are... The two with Gwyneth in that older picture are her kids. Let's double back here. Small-time screen director and head of R&R Productions. And in this photo, this particular young man has film school on his jacket. He also looks like the older one. So the other one must be his brother, Ronnie. Or Robbie, rather. What was Robbie's deal again? Was he...
There was a rumor about him in Silver Screen magazine.
Small Rumors article from 1992. I was born that year. That claims that self-taught television screenwriter Robbie Roottree was allegedly tried and convicted under the name Robert in a French court of law. It seems he, again allegedly, embezzled from the company R&R Productions to fuel a gambling habit that left him hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. He then fled to Paris, where he grew up. And then Silver Screen continues to insist that this was all very much allegedly that this was all allegedly assaulted, or allegedly, fucking hell. And then assaulted an officer who came to question him there. The article's author says that they were unable to get a statement from French authorities, but received information from an anonymous source, and were able to confirm through public record that there was a trial involving Robert Roottrees around the time that Brother Trouble was canceled. Damn. So he was a writer. Wait, screenwriter. There we go. Well done.
We are just over 1/5 of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And we are an hour 42 in. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long series.
Yeah, we have. Oh God.
Because let's be real here. The investigation's only going to get increasingly more difficult from here.
Hey, Mr. Duck. Okay. Lauren Roottrees. We haven't searched for her yet. Author Lauren Roottrees, a distant relative of the Roottrees sisters, is known for her book, A Life Between the Wars. See, she released a few romance novels under her married name, Lauren Raftery. To little fanfare, when her publisher learned she had been keeping diaries about her famous family, he insisted she release them under her original name, Lauren Roottrees, to take advantage of her family's notoriety. Yeah. The selection of diary entries released in 1965 as A Life Between Wars spans from the untimely death of her husband in World War II to coping with the post-war world as a young widow and mother, as well as her perspectives on changing times and societal. What?
Societal.
Socialites. Wait.
Oh, socialites. Changing times and socialites. Okay, my bad. I wasn't looking. I just thought I would finish the word you were trying to say.
Through the entry into Vietnam. While the content is not considered particularly relevant to modern audiences, it has found new life as an exercise in high school English classes to show an evolution in writing style and a look into the life of previous generations. After the success of her diaries, her publisher re-released her romance novels under the name Lauren Roottrees. This included Romance in Court, which gained popularity. She followed the re-release up by writing 2 new sequels, creating what fans refer to as the Court Jester series. We find no recent details about Lauren, though she is listed as retired.
I'm gonna take a break. I will be right back.
Right. I'm gonna look into Lauren on the public library. Holy shit. Oops. I guess I'll just wait for Makermon to get back. Whew. We already got 15 out of 50 blood relatives. It's not too bad.
Delayed thanks to a conversation with Meiku's mom downstairs. And we've both reached a similar conclusion about the story of the game.
Oh?
That plane crash couldn't have been in it. I know that as far as the game's framing is concerned, it was. But we've both seen way too much Scooby-Doo and read too many murder mysteries to go, there's no way. Like, there's just no way there isn't any foul play in here.
Honestly, the only people I can imagine, like, causing any foul play at all are already dead.
Or people who know how much money the Roottrees have and want to get at all of it, knowing full well about that document that would likely become null and void if the entire Rootree family were to cease to exist.
That's true. But while you were gone,
Murder them all at once.
While you were gone, I accidentally walked in 3 more Roottrees. Roottree, Mother to Gwyn, Miracle Roottree, and Elias M. Roottree, who I figured out is, well, just from like looking at the pictures of him and Miracle Jr., they're obviously twins, or at the very least, like, if not twins, they're certainly brothers. And going by the name Eli on his outfit, I assume he was either Elias M or Elias C. with Elias M for, Miracle. And going by the outfit, he was clearly a mechanic, so...
You're listening to WRTT.
It's time for your headlines. Once an hour, every hour, on the 45. It's a bizarre development to an already tragic tale. In the wake of the accident that took his life, some of Carl Roottrees' belongings have apparently gone missing. Most notably, a framed photo of the Roottree family from the mid-1970s that Carl had on his office wall. We interviewed a local psychologist about who would do such a thing and why. For that article, search online for WRTD News. Again, that's WRTD.
Okay, so that means the person supplying us with this evidence may not be doing so legally. But yeah, I found a lot more photos. I found photos of the 5 pieces. For some reason, it would let me take a picture. It let me take a picture of this guy here. We got the next generation.
Never know what might be useful.
Yep. I get the feeling this is probably Lauren. That's probably Carl's dad, actually. Since he looked the most like Pop did in the old one, so that must be Eli. We also got A Life Between Wars. 2 new pictures and several pieces of... several notes. So her father, Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottree Candy Company and helped write the legal document called the Clancy Trust. Named after Clancy Edward Roottree. Okay. And her brother Eli looked the most like their father, so that would mean this is more than likely Clancy Edward Roottree. This Lauren. Her mother's name was Kossel. Her mother's family name was Kossel. So Sarah Kossel. Clark. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Wild Bill Williams. That's definitely a name. Holy shit. Wild Bill Williams was the leading man of some non-notable movies in the 1950s. He appeared in an adventure movie called Fortune Favors the Grave, which has yet to be released for home audiences. You didn't find any additional information about the film. He was known for his good looks and off-screen romances, specifically with blondes. He was married 4 different times to 4 different actresses. There's a famous Hollywood rumor that he even approached Marilyn Monroe at a party and that she was already aware of his reputation. Did you know trivia? Wild Bill grew up in Paris, France. He returned there often.
Alrighty.
Well, I was just skimming for any information. There's just like nothing here.
Evidently, he had a drinking problem.
Yeah. Couldn't remember his lines. He also kept hitting on an actress who was supposed to be doing a very somber, serious role. Wild Bill was dropped for the picture, and he and the director no longer speak. Ha! Wait,
Well organized, search is broken, yada yada.
Gwen Roottrees was in this movie.
Christmas Mission is on a page called Flops. It was a war movie about World War I released in 1955 that received poor reviews and lost the studio money. Gwen Roottrees had a role as a soldier's wife who wrote him letters from home. You find no additional relevant information. Did you know? The movie was marketed as an incredible true story, but no record of the events happening has ever been found.
That doesn't surprise me. There's a connection between Wild Bill Williams and Gwen. I know it. Also, she's the first Roottrees woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I'm jealous. So, that would mean all Roottrees before her were housewives. All Roottrees women before her were housewives. That actually makes things a little easier. Entry entitled Dynasty from Lauren Roottrees' Diary, written in 1958, focused on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president from the Roottrees Candy Company, and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish there'd been a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president. Well, that's what he gets for holding on to it for so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody's got time for candy, so the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay within our branch of the family, since we still have the Roottrees name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Wait a minute. wait a gosh darn minute. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views when it comes to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over, and after all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm next oldest of us all, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back, maybe they wanted to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. That's harsh.
No comment.
Also, firstborn son of the firstborn five-piece. We know that the first five-piece was female, and her name started with G. And that just gives us Gwendolyn. And we know that she was a housewife. We don't know. That's pretty much all we know, though.
So, you may
Mushy
have
mushy.
heard the news. Some of Carl's things have gone missing. That includes the pictures and mail I brought you earlier. I promise I didn't steal it, but I did borrow it. I'll return it once we're done. Let me deal with my family in the meantime. Oh, I guess that means I've officially confessed. I'm a Roottrees.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
I assure you I have a reasonable explanation for the secrecy. I'm about to do something big the family doesn't approve of. If you could just wait a little bit longer, I'll tell you more, in person. I'll return after 15 more blood relatives.
You arranged that crash to take over.
Let's see. Sam.
I joke because I legit have no motive for why she'd do that.
So this Sam person seems to be well, Gwyneth seems to have been pushing to include Sam into the family for quite some time, but no one understands why, because, well, no one knows who Sam is. Clark. We got a name for her husband, Jacob. And she used to go by Roottrees, so it should be Jacob Roottrees. And then Clark Raftree. And we know from investigating James that he is a... What was it? He's into advertising. We don't have much of a picture, though. We also have a name for I'm guessing, his first wife, Danielle. We also know Elias Jr. He was married to someone named Patsy, so Patricia Christensen? Yeah, maybe. And she seems to be related to Elias and Patricia. She worked on the farm. I do believe this is her picture.
Plot thickens no matter what.
Wait, they said the second president looked like he sampled his own product. Should he
He'd be a conqueror.
Right, and this guy seems to be the only, well, large man in the family. It would also mean his name is Zach. Which would put him... It says he's the firstborn son. But that doesn't really say much. Gwendolyn could have had a daughter first.
He did mention having girls that were older that could have taken over.
That's right. Now I just need to look for the name. Oh. Zach Wilson. Sir, hold on, are there any... First, let me just check to make sure if there are any others. Zachariah Morden. Fuck it, why not? This is just guesswork at this point. We would need to lock in. We would need to lock someone in. Or yeah, we would need to. You know what? Let's play the guessing game, shall we?
Oh, goody, that never goes wrong.
Let's try Edward Roottrees. Nope. Elias C. Nope. Jack? Nope. Okay, wait, that means if none of those names locked in, that means that... Oh, no.
We haven't discovered his name.
Well, no, that means that we have... Let's see. We need to unlock 3 blood relatives, right? Oh, I forgot to put this guy... We did it! I just forgot to put his damn occupation. Oh man. I don't even know if that's the right picture for the dad, for Carl's dad. Well, we're going to end it here because we are 2 hours and 20 minutes in. What'd you think of this game?
Honestly, it's been an interesting mystery so far. Like, yeah, you do feel like a detective using every resource available to you to answer questions. And every question answered just springs up like 6 more.
Mm-hmm. Like, who's Sam?
Why did that plane really crash? I am still not over this.
The plane has nothing to do with the task at hand.
I know, but it's gonna bug me.
Who is Sam? Why was Gwyneth so
secretive about her heritage? No, wait, I'm thinking someone else.
Why was Gwyneth so adamant on including Sam into the family? Why the fuck was Clancy Edward Roottrees and his wife so goddamn rude to everyone in their family? There's no secret there. I want to know. They said Zachariah Morden was like, I guess they wanted a president that looked like he sampled his own product. It's like, fuck you. You didn't even want the job. Actually, yeah, why are you angry about Zachariah getting the job when you didn't even want the damn thing? Also, still gotta figure out the rest of Lauren's. We gotta figure out Lauren's brothers, their names. We know Eli looks the most like his dad. Just don't know where he is in the, is he the oldest brother, youngest brother, middle brother? And, like, we've got no information on, outside of, like, Zachariah and Morden, we've got, like, no information on the first Roottrees side of the family. There's just a lot of unanswered questions. Especially in regards to Sam.
And of course, there's our contact.
Yeah. They seem very interested in unveiling the Roottree family tree. At first, it seemed like she just wanted to figure out who was still alive, who would be
The next heir.
who would be the next president. Who could be the next president?
And now she's basically robbing crime scenes to give us
Well,
dubiously usable evidence.
it wasn't a crime scene.
I refer to it as such because, say the plane did end up going down and crashing on its own, it would still be a scene of police investigation to figure out what went wrong.
We know what went wrong. There was... At the beginning of the game, they more or less said, yeah, no, the pilots were having trouble due to the winter, due to the storm. They were essentially flying through whiteout.
Like, I'd still think there'd be an investigation going on and people taking stock of evidence, you know?
Well, there probably is, but that's not what we're involved
That's
with.
more or less the point I'm trying to make,
Yeah.
as badly as I'm conveying it.
Like, there probably is an investigation to make sure that it was just an accident. And, like, that's for the Roottrees. That's for the Roottrees and the cops to uncover. All we know how to do is unravel family trees.
To reiterate, though, something about this doesn't sit right.
Why now?
That is an excellent question.
They had all the time in the world to unravel their own family tree.
So why when this just happened?
Yeah, why when Carl, his wife, and 3 daughters tragically passed away in an accident?
Were they trying to cover something up?
Maybe not cover something up, but I have an idea. What if they're using this tragedy as a springboard? Since all the attention is on the Roottrees family right now, if someone were to say, reveal some Roottrees family secret, unrelated to Carl and his branch of the family, if someone were to reveal some big secret right now, it'd be big. Everyone's attention would be on it.
Got a point.
So, as you can tell, folks, we like this game.
A lot. Even if I am way off base, insisting there had to be some kind of foul play involved. Like, even I know I'm wrong, but at this point, it's more for the love of the joke.
I fully expect you, like, at the end of the game, once we've, like, uncovered the whole family tree, you're just, like, out of nowhere, you're just gonna say, it was Thomas Sheridan!
Complete with the big-ass cork board and all the red yarn.
Just... the Pepe Sylvia meme, but with Mekumon's face on it. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can get someone from Cast Ranger to make that.
Should I provide the specific Mekumon face you need to put on it?
If there's a Mekumon's face that looks like they're being crazy, but they think they're sane, then yes.
Oh, I'm sure there's one somewhere.
But yeah, this game is gonna be our Tuesday game from now on. I mean, at least until we finish it. Tomorrow is Wednesday, my dudes. Which means Resident Evil 5.
And the awkwardness that follows.
I almost said Resident Evil 4.
No, we'd rather go back to 4.
I would rather go back to... I would rather go back to 4, because at least it wasn't all that offensive.
Least of all, the fact that the gameplay was much better.
Mm-hmm. God, and we still have, like, Revelations 2 and 6. Yeah, Revelations 2 and RE6 to get through before we can get to the good ones, essentially. Although I've heard Revelations is not that... Revelations 2 is not that bad. But, anyway. Yeah. I'm starting to ramble. Thank you all for watching. This has been Vegas Bear 92.
With Mekumon.
And special appearances by Taro and Webb. And if you like what we do and want to see us keep doing it, feel free to support us in any way you wish. Whether it be monetarily, through engagement, or some other third thing. Every little bit helps. And as always, stay safe, stay comfy, stay hydrated, stay healthy, be good to each other. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Also, why do big families like that? Like, I get it's, a big family. They're gonna have skeletons in the closet, but why do there have to be so damn many of them?
I think I just stepped on a shin.
Like, someone, like, one of the closets was literally labeled skeleton closet, and there's nothing but prop skeletons. Who even does that?
Crypt Keeper I found in the basement.
Wait, you found what in the basement?
Some weird undead zombie thing called the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, God.